The financial truth most people never learn. For most of history, people believed that hard work alone was enough. Work hard, save money, stay loyal to one job, hope for the best. Yet millions of hard-working people reach retirement exhausted, financially insecure, and dependent on systems they do not control. The uncomfortable truth is that effort alone is rarely enough. A person can work harder than everyone around them and still struggle financially. Why? Because wealth is not created only by labor. Wealth is created by systems. Throughout history, the individuals who achieved financial security understood something that most people ignored. They built assets. They created multiple sources of value. They positioned themselves where opportunity could flow toward them instead of constantly chasing it. One of the most fascinating aspects of Scripture is that many of its teachings align with principles that successful investors, entrepreneurs, and wealth builders still follow today. The Bible is often viewed exclusively as a spiritual book, but it is also filled with observations about human nature, stewardship, responsibility, discipline, and economics. When examined carefully, it reveals a framework for creating stability during uncertain times. And perhaps this matters more today than ever before. We live in an age of inflation, an age of uncertainty, an age where entire industries can change in a matter of months. The old belief that one paycheck guarantees security is becoming increasingly fragile. One unexpected event can destroy years of planning. A company downsizes, a market shifts, technology replaces a profession, health problems appear without warning. The lesson is simple. Dependence creates vulnerability. The more your survival depends on a single source, the greater your risk. This principle is not modern, it is ancient, and it leads directly to the first business model. Multiple income streams, the ancient strategy of security. One of the most powerful economic concepts in Scripture is diversification. Most people hear the word and immediately think about investing, stocks, real estate, funds. But diversification is much deeper than that. Diversification is protection against uncertainty. The future is unpredictable. Nobody knows exactly what will happen next year. Nobody knows which industry will boom. Nobody knows which company will survive. Because uncertainty is permanent, dependence becomes dangerous. Imagine a table supported by one leg. No matter how strong that leg appears, eventually something can happen. Now imagine a table supported by 6 legs. The risk is completely different. This is how wealth builders think. Instead of asking, "How can I earn more from my job?" they ask, "How many different ways can value flow into my life?" A salary, a side business, digital products, consulting, investments, royalties, rental income, content creation, licensing, partnerships. The objective is not greed. The objective is resilience. People often underestimate how quickly small income streams can grow. A simple skill taught online, a digital course, a useful guide, a service solving a specific problem. Over time, these seemingly small efforts can become powerful financial engines. History repeatedly shows that economic freedom rarely comes from a single source. It comes from strategic diversification, and the people who understand this principle become far less vulnerable to economic shocks. Land and real estate, the power of ownership. Civilizations rise, empires fall, technologies evolve, but one asset has maintained value throughout nearly all of human history. Land. Why? Because land is limited. Nobody is creating more of it. Land represents control, security, production, opportunity. Even today, some of the world's wealthiest individuals and institutions continue accumulating real estate. Not because it is exciting, but because it is durable. The average person often focuses on consumption. The wealthy often focus on ownership. This distinction changes everything. Consumers buy liabilities. Owners acquire assets. Every piece of land carries potential: agriculture, development, rental opportunities, commercial use, storage, tourism, energy production, future expansion. Ownership creates options, and options create leverage. The strategic lesson is simple. Whenever possible, move from consuming assets to controlling assets. The people who control productive assets tend to build wealth faster than those who merely use them. Knowledge, the asset no one can take away. There is one asset that survives market crashes: economic recessions, political changes, technological disruption. Knowledge. Knowledge is unique because it compounds. The more valuable your knowledge becomes, the greater your earning potential. Many people underestimate what they know. They assume expertise only belongs to professors or specialists. This is false. Every person possesses experiences, skills, lessons, and insights that others need. Teaching has become one of the most scalable businesses in history. A century ago, a teacher could reach dozens of students. Today, one person can reach millions. Courses, books, coaching, consulting, memberships, communities, educational content. The modern economy rewards expertise, and expertise can often be developed with little financial investment. The real investment is discipline, learning, practice, improvement. The market increasingly rewards people who solve problems. Knowledge allows you to solve more valuable problems, and the greater the problem you solve, the greater your potential income. Transportation and the business of movement. Throughout history, wealth has followed movement. Goods moving, people moving, information moving, commerce moving. Economic activity depends on mobility. Every major civilization built roads, ports, trade routes, infrastructure. Why? Because movement creates exchange, and exchange creates wealth. Today, transportation opportunities exist everywhere. Delivery services, logistics, freight, ride-sharing, vehicle rentals, local transportation solutions, business transportation, tourism transportation. The specific vehicle matters less than the principle. The principle is movement. The world rewards people who help resources reach where they need to go. Those who facilitate movement often position themselves directly in the path of economic activity. The four enemies of financial prosperity. Many people focus on opportunities. Few focus on obstacles. Yet avoiding major mistakes often produces greater results than finding extraordinary opportunities. Enemy number 1: uncontrolled debt. Debt can be a tool, but when misused, it becomes a trap. Interest works both ways. It can build wealth or slowly destroy it. Enemy number 2: lack of discipline. Ideas are abundant. Execution is rare. The market rewards action, not intention. Enemy number 3: Short-term thinking. Most people sacrifice long-term prosperity for immediate gratification. The future belongs to those who delay gratification. Enemy number 4, lack of purpose. Money alone is rarely enough motivation. The strongest businesses solve meaningful problems. Purpose sustains effort when motivation disappears. The final lesson: building a legacy. The greatest financial lesson is not about becoming rich. It is about becoming useful. Money is a byproduct of value creation. The people who create the most value tend to receive the greatest rewards. True prosperity is not measured only by income. It is measured by freedom. The freedom to choose, the freedom to help others, the freedom to invest in the future, the freedom to live without constant fear. Every generation faces uncertainty. Every generation experiences crises. But the principles that create resilience remain remarkably consistent. Diversify. Own assets. Invest in knowledge. Stay in motion. Avoid destructive debt. Practice discipline. Build with purpose. These principles have survived wars, recessions, technological revolutions, and economic collapse, because they are rooted in realities that do not change: human behavior, value creation, responsibility, stewardship. The question is not whether these principles work. The question is whether you will apply them, because financial transformation rarely begins with money. It begins with a decision to think differently, a decision to act differently, a decision to build rather than consume. And that decision can change everything.